People need to be challenged, but the challenge must be realistic. Engineers will not strive to meet goals they consider impossible. The key to high performance is to set aggressive goals and have the team make plans to meet these goals. When they have produced the plan, they can see that the goal is reachable, and they're motivated to meet it. Often, however, the engineers will not see how to meet management's goal. This is when rational leadership is most important. Instead of insisting on the arbitrary date, rationally explore the alternatives. Would additional resources help, or could the work be delivered in phases? Could the job be simplified, or would a subcontract help? Take the time to guide the team to a plan you and they believe is aggressive but realistic. Many managers worry that a rational leadership style will seem weak and indecisive, but if properly handled, rational leadership is both demanding and highly motivating. The key is to remember what Sam Ewing, the author, said. Good leaders inspire people to believe in them, while great leaders inspire people to believe in themselves. When engineers have clear responsibilities, own their plans, and are rationally managed, they like the work. After all, they picked engineering for a career. They like to build products. Engineers also like to contribute to important projects. When they're part of an effective and closely knit team, they will be most productive. One indication of how engineers feel about the TSP is staff turnover. In two organizations, one had an annual turnover of 20% and the other 14%. In both cases, the software engineering turnover on the TSP teams dropped to zero. One manager in San Jose, California even told me that he did not expect problems recruiting engineers for the new TSP project. Word was out that they were using the PSP, and several engineers had already called looking for jobs. One such team at the Hill Air Force Base near Salt Lake City, Utah, developed a system to assist Air Force pilots in mission planning. The job was to develop a 15,000 line of code product in 8 months. After several months of work, however, the team found they were ahead of schedule. They talked to the customer, who asked them to add substantial new functions. Even then, they delivered a high-quality product within days of the original schedule, and they cut test time by 8 times. The team productivity more than doubled, and there has only been one reported defect during several months of customer use. The Hill Air Force Base, by the way, does not just have an average software shop. They were the first U.S. Department of Defense group to achieve CMM's highest rating of level 5. The Teradyne Corporation has now used the TSP for a number of projects. From their historical data, prior projects had averaged 20 defects per 1,000 lines of code, or KLOC, in testing and field use. With the TSP, they reduced this defect level by 20 times to 1 defect per KLOC. Each defect had historically cost an average of 12 engineering hours, so the TSP saved Teradyne 228 engineering hours per KLOC of product developed. Since it typically takes only about 50 to 100 engineering hours to implement 1,000 lines of code, the TSP savings were more than twice the original cost of writing the code. In just 2 years, Teradyne estimates that the TSP has saved them $5.3 million. On Teradyne's very first TSP project, the team came close to their original estimate, and they delivered ahead of schedule. Quality was high, with only 2 defects found in the final field trial. That is a density of only 20 defects per million lines of code. By sharply reducing the number of defects in test, this team also substantially reduced testing time. One such smaller product had taken 9 months for the engineering trial and customer acceptance testing. Testing this much larger TSP-produced product took only 5 weeks. To date, over 1,000 copies of this new Teradyne product have been shipped to customers with no reported defects. The TSP brings substantial benefits, but it is not free. TSP introduction starts with an executive seminar that explains TSP objectives and methods. The seminar also produces an introduction strategy and plan. At the seminar, groups generally pick 2 to 4 projects for pilot TSP introduction. The recommended plan is to PSP train all the engineers and managers who will be involved in the pilot projects. Then shortly after training, launch the TSP project. By following this strategy, organizations have started using the TSP in as little as 4 to 6 months. The world is getting more complex and increasingly competitive. It will also involve a great deal of software. In the future, just about every product and service will depend on software. So you are in the software business, whether you like it or not. To compete in this software-intensive future, you must have a competitive software capability. TSP can help you to build this capability. Thank you.